Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog. And as you can see, folks, it's flannel season. It was in the 20s this morning, and it's only going up to about 50 today. So yeah, I had to get the flannel out. It is time. About 5 days ago, I was wearing shorts. You can check out my vacation vlog if you, but I was wearing shorts here in Delaware as well. The onset of the cold weather comes with November. And November, for me, always means Nonfiction November. This is something I've been doing in the blogging world for years. I always sign up for an annual nonfiction reading challenge. This year, that is the 2023 Nonfiction Reader Challenge, hosted by Shelley at Booked Out. I'll include a link down below to her blog. And in the blogging world, Nonfiction November has been hosted at least since 2017. That's when I started doing it. I think it was actually going on long before that. Each year there are 4 hosts. They have weekly topics that you can post about on your blog. And of course, the idea is to read nonfiction. But since joining BookTube, I learned last year that there is also a Nonfiction November challenge here on BookTube. And so I've joined that as well. That is Nonfiction November, hosted by A Book Olive. She says she started this in 2015. And for her channel, her Nonfiction November includes 4 kind of key words. And you can kind of fit your nonfiction books into those keywords however you like. So this year, the keywords, she says, are fraud, web, capital, and display. So I don't typically read a whole lot of nonfiction the rest of the year. I checked, and on my annual nonfiction challenge, so far I have 5 books, and it's November. So I've only read 5 nonfiction books so far this year, but I do like to devote all of November to nonfiction, both in print and on audio. So I'm sure that number will more than double, perhaps even triple by the end of the month. If you saw the opening shot, I've got quite a stack here. And obviously there is no way I will read all of those. I just pulled all the nonfiction I've been meaning to read off my shelf, and I'm just going to very quickly give you a glimpse at what I have to choose from. This is my pile of possibilities for Nonfiction November. Well, first up, this has to be my priority, because as you can see, there's already a bookmark in it. I've talked on my channel before about how I am a monogamous reader. I read 1 book at a time, plus listen to an audio. And this is exhibit A of why I do that. Because in January this year, I said to myself, I can read this nonfiction book while I am also reading novels. And yeah, so I got up to the 4th chapter in the last 10 months. So you can see it just doesn't work for me. I'm a 1 book at a time person. So now that it's Nonfiction November, I am going to finish this, which is actually very, very good. The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. I love her Happier podcast. Listen to it every single week, and I'm a longtime fan. I was really enjoying the book. I just was having trouble fitting it in. So this is the first thing I will definitely read this month. I also really want to get to this, We Are Never Meeting in Real Life by Samantha Irby, because it was a birthday gift from my husband. I had told him that I was interested in reading one of Irby's books, and this is the one he picked for me. It's a collection of essays, as I think all of her books are. I have heard that she is thoughtful and funny and Really looking forward to that. I enjoy reading those kinds of personal essays, and I haven't read any in a while. Okay, now we get to the deep cut from my bookshelves. I have so many books that I haven't gotten to yet on my shelves. The Girls from Ames, A Story of Women and a 40-Year Friendship by Jeffrey Zaslow. This was published in 2009. I think I bought it shortly after that, once it came out in paperback. That's a long time to sit on my shelf. Every year it's in my Nonfiction November stack, so maybe I can finally get to it this year. Ditto for Almost French by Sarah Turnbull, Love and a New Life in Paris. I think my mother lent this to me quite a few years ago, several years ago. So I would like to get to that. It is a memoir about living in Paris. I have another book of personal essays, Tell Me More by Kelly Corrigan. Love Kelly Corrigan's essays. She's another one who is thoughtful and thought-provoking and funny. She has also appeared on several podcasts that I enjoy, and I love listening to her as well. This is a short one, so I can definitely fit this in. I'm going to choose one of the books of essays for Thanksgiving week when I will not have a lot of reading time. We'll be up visiting my family in Rochester, New York, and running from one place to another. Reading time will be limited, but I think the essays will be perfect for some light dip in and out of kind of reading. This is a new one on my shelf. Fuzz, When Nature Breaks the Law by Mary Roach. I know how popular Mary Roach is, and I have never read one of her books. So I would very much like to read this. This was our all-county reads book for this year. In fact, my book group read it that month. I missed that meeting, and yeah, so looking forward to this. I have heard she is very funny, and her books are also filled with all kinds of interesting facts, so I'm looking forward to that. Earlier this year at an indie bookstore, I picked up a nonfiction classic for exactly this purpose, for Nonfiction November. This is As They Were by M.F.K. Fisher. I've been meaning to read her for years. I never have. I really know very little about her. I think her books are about food to some degree. I don't know anything about her, but I've heard good things, and I've been meaning to read one of her books for years. So I will, I know I'm saying this a lot, but I will try to fit this in because I would like to read another classic. This one I found in a local little free library last year, The Zookeeper's Wife by Diane Ackerman. Again, I've been meaning to read it ever since I picked it up. I remember hearing about this when it was first published quite a few years ago. I've been meaning to read it for ages, and now that I have my own copy, definitely want to get to that. And finally, for a little bit of history, well, The Zookeeper's Wife is also history, but I have two Erik Larson books here, Dead Wake and The Splendid and the Vile. Dead Wake is about the Lusitania and how it was torpedoed during World War I. The Splendid and the Vile is all about Winston Churchill. Now, my husband said we both really enjoy all of Erik Larson's books. Devil in a White City was fabulous. That was the one that got us hooked. We both also enjoyed In the Garden of Beasts, which is chilling and fascinating. And my husband said this was his favorite Eric Larson. He had already read Dead Wake as well. He said this was his favorite, but he also said that's because he really likes Winston Churchill. This one's pretty big. Don't know if I'll get to it, but though that's my pile of possibilities. In addition, I have a dozen or more nonfiction graphic novels on my iPad. I would like to get to some of those. And I took a look at my backlog of audiobooks. Yes, I've got a virtual pile there as well. It looks like I've got quite a few. I've got several memoirs, several health-related books that would be relevant to me with my chronic illnesses. I've got a Mary Roach book on audio, Gulp. And I've got Moment of Lift by Melinda Gates, which I think will probably be the first audio that I listen to because I've been meaning to read that one. So that's my Nonfiction November. My husband is joining in the fun. He just started A Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson. He is already interrupting my reading to tell me all kinds of interesting facts. So that's a hefty one, but I think he's enjoying it so far. So that's my Nonfiction November. Let me know your plans. Do you participate in Nonfiction November? And also, please help me narrow down this pile. What of those books that I have here would you recommend that I read this month? Let me know in the comments down below. I need help.